Monday, welcome back to the sewing room. I am down here trying something new this week. I want to try and film 3 videos at the same time, which is something that I very rarely do because I get very confused very easily. So I have tried made myself some little flashcards. So we've got waffles, which is this, sew along, which I'm hoping to do at the same time as the proper or making of this dress video. Now I did a making this dress video earlier this year, which was really well received. You guys seem to really enjoy that. I promised to sew along for, this is the Vogue 9076. I promised to sew along for it. I have got it all cut out and ready to go in the cobra corsage teal viscose challis from Lady McElroy. I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and do a making of, behind the scenes, how this goes together, little tips and tricks. I'm going to do the full-on sew along of, you know, the one that ends up being an hour and a half kind of long, and I know not everybody wants to watch all of that. Then I'm also going to try and waffle at the same time. So that's why I've got these, because I only have one camera and I only have one memory card. Ideally what I would like to do is be able to switch between either cameras or memory cards and kind of record certain amounts of footage on, you know, that, you know, the waffle on the waffle camera, as it were, kind of thing. But I don't have extra equipment, can't afford to buy extra equipment, so I'm going with flashcards. We'll see if that works. It's just to make editing later today, tomorrow, the rest of this week easier. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm aiming for 2 waffles this week, Tuesday and Thursday, a proper video which will be the making of on Friday, a hangout on the Sunday, and then editing the sew along as and when I can to get that out for the in-depth sew along as well. As the plan. So wish me luck. I have a few new Patreon peeps to say hi to. I have not been active on Patreon at all this month, which I keep saying that I'm going to pull my socks up and get back on top of that, and then just letting life get ahead of me or get away with me. So let's get back on top of things. I have decided for the newsletter I'm going to completely scrap the one that I wrote at the beginning of this year. I've told you guys a few times I started writing it and then something happened, and then I started writing it again and then something else happened, and the beginning of this year sucked. So I'm just going to say that this year started on the 1st of May, and I'm going to start my newsletter from then, because trying to put a positive spin on the beginning of this year has just not been something that I've been able to do yet. So yeah, so I'm going to rewrite the Patreon newsletter and get that sent out to the $15 and up tier. But as I mentioned, I have got some people to say thank you for coffees. So Caroline bought me some coffees for my birthday. Thank you very much, Caroline, very much appreciated. Maeve also bought me a couple of coffees. Thank you, Maeve, very much appreciated. We have the very lovely Hayley Cartmel. I did get that right. The very lovely Hayley Cartmel has joined the Patreon peeps, so thank you, Hayley, and welcome. Last but not least, the very lovely Denise O'Halloran has also joined the Patreon peeps, so welcome, Denise, and thank you very much for joining. Patreon, if you are interested, is all listed in the description box down below, as is my coffee account. So now that I'm up to date with that, I am going to get out all the bits and pieces for the teal cobra corsage dress and just refresh myself on what I've done, because I've smooshed 2 patterns together for that one, film the intro for the proper video, and get started on the sew along. This is going to be fun. I'm going to totally be able to do this. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Wish me luck.
2 hours later.
I don't know if these little flashcards are going to make it easy for me editing later or not, but I think they will. I think they will. So I've just had lunch. It is actually 5 to 4. But I've had a bacon and cheese salad, and it was quite a large one, and that probably will be me for the day. I might have a little snack later on, but I am desperately trying to get back onto keto because I do feel better on it. I do. And the comfort food, whilst it tastes delicious, has not actually been making me feel that great, for sure. So yeah, I have got all the bits and pieces, like the little, my bias, no, not bias binding, my piping done and the rouleau loops. I'm going to make my skirt first so that it can hang and drop on the bias, but I've got a whole bunch of ironing to do, and I think I'm going to work in units like I usually do. So I'm going to make the skirt, I'm going to make the sleeves, and then I'm going to work on the bodice, but I've got all the fiddly little bits done first, which is just my preference, because if I do it that way around then I don't have any fiddly bits to kind of try and tackle midway through or towards the end of the project. So ironing, lots and lots of ironing next.
A few moments later.
Like I said earlier, I don't know if these cards are going to help. Fingers crossed they will. So I have just finished trimming down all of the French seam first pass, so French seam spaghetti. So I'm now going to go and press everything so I can finish off this skirt. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to stay down here today. I might get the sleeves done, possibly. I've got continuous laps to put in. Rouleau loops for the maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Yeah, probably do that tomorrow. I'm also thinking about what I'm going to put up for a vote on Patreon for today, well, for the rest of this month, because there's not a lot of this month left. I've got so many Patreon outstanding so longs to get through as well. Yeah, I need to have a think. Anyway, let's get this pressed so we can get it hung up. No, not hung up. Let's get it pressed so we can finish the seams, so we can then get it hung up.
Later.
Waffle time. So skirt is done. Really like it. Really like it. I'm gonna hang this up so it can do its biasy thing, if anything. Like I said, last time I made this, it was in the Eden navy tencel rayon that I got from Darn Cheap Fabrics. Craft Mill have the cream version. I don't know who's got the navy version anymore. I think it's sold out everywhere. So I have got a little bit of this fabric left over. Well, I say a little bit. I've got the full width of this fabric left over, and I have got about 60 centimeters of it. Now I was, and there still are lines on it, I was going to just make bias binding with it and make quite a lot of bias binding out of this particular amount, because as you know, this will turn into a very long piece of bias binding. But I'm wondering, I do need bias binding because I need to bind the edges of the skirt where the zip's going to go in, and then also the hem, possibly the waistband, although I think I can do the waistband in my usual way because I'm making the alterations to the pattern I am. I do have like a teal that I could use, although I think I might actually end up going for like a bright purple instead on the inside if I don't make my own bias binding, because I'm thinking I might try and squeeze an Ogden cami out of this. Now I made a whole bunch of camisoles last year. I still have the, hang on, let me get it out. I still have this, which is the Camilla Cami by Tessuti patterns. I still have that cut out, and that's been cut out for a good 2 years now. I don't think I have enough of this fabric to cut that one out because this is cut on the bias, and I needed to make some changes to it, which I have done. But you guys have christened this Schrodinger's camisole because whilst it's in this form, it is still the one that didn't quite work, but then with the alterations it's also the perfect camisole in my head. And I don't know if I want to break to try and make this to then see, because like I said, I don't think I would be able to get it out of this amount of fabric, but I think I can squeeze out an Ogden cami. However, I don't think I would get any bias binding, so maybe I just need to make bias binding out of this. I do have some solid teal fabric, got a solid teal needle cord back there, which is quite a lot brighter than this, but I do have some solid fabrics that I could use this colour bias binding on the inside of. For example, that needle cord, I'm thinking about making a pinafore dress, so there would be quite a lot of binding on the inside of that as well, because I could technically do French seams, but I think it would be better to bind the seams. So if I did make a bunch of bias binding out of this, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. You'll have to let me know in the comments down below what you think. Should I try and make an Ogden cami out of this and just use pre-made bias binding for the 9076 that I'm making at the moment? Or should I use this whole 65cm, 140 wide piece of fabric to make a ton of bias binding in a colour that I love that will be useful for other things in the future? Let me know in the comments down below. So I am going to call it a night because I have a bunch of editing to do. That's one of the things I'm going to have to keep on top of this week if I want to have the videos out like I am planning. So yes, I've got a bunch of editing to do, and also a couple of videos I want to watch myself, and I need to catch up on Picard because I think episode 10 is out. I'm pleased with what I've got done today. I started at 1, I have had lunch, and it's currently 5:30, so I'm pleased that I've got that done. I'm going to work on the sleeves next because I'm always I'm not a fan of sleeves, but it's just nice to have them done so when the bodice is done you can just stick them on rather than have to, you know, then make the sleeves. It's just how it works. It's the same with bag making. I like making the lining first and then all the straps and all those bits and pieces so that you make the outside last, if that's possible with the way construction allows you to do it, so that when you've made your outside you can just put it all together. So yeah, that's just how my little brain works. Yes, let me know, again, another question, let me know in the comments down below how your brain works when you're making things. Do you like to do all the fiddly stuff first, or do you leave that till the end? Let me know. Anyway, that's enough waffle. This video is probably going to end up being way longer than I expected it to, so I hope you've enjoyed what I have been doing today. Hope you're looking forward to Friday's video. Fingers crossed I can get it done, and I shall see you all tomorrow.